We all saw it posted yesterday all over our social media pages. Cassie filed a lawsuit in New York City against Diddy.
Yikes.
She's claiming she was stuck in a decade-long cycle of abuse.
Replete with very, very serious and salacious allegations, including allegations that Combs had cameras.
Let's dive right in to the most explosive celebrity scandal currently rocking the entertainment world, the downfall of Sean Diddy Combs, one of the most iconic names in hip-hop and business. But what's even more shocking is the recent revelation of just how deep his connections run and how he's reportedly using those ties to manipulate some of the most powerful figures in Hollywood and beyond. One of those figures, surprisingly, is none other than Steve Harvey, a household name with an image of being America's favorite TV host. But behind the smile, the suits, and the jokes, there seems to be a much darker story unfolding.
Took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others when agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him. They place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs.
First off, let's get everyone up to speed on Diddy's current situation. He was arrested in September 2024 on some seriously heavy charges, including racketeering conspiracy, coercion, and some deeply troubling claims about his business operations. And these aren't just small-time accusations. We're talking about a full-on FBI investigation that has led to raids on his properties in Los Angeles and Miami, revealing a mountain of potential evidence. He's currently sitting behind bars with no bail in sight, and it looks like this might be the end of the road for Diddy's empire. But as more details come out, it's clear that this scandal goes way beyond just Diddy.
You know, I think in federal court and for these charges, they would say it's routine, but in the public realm, this is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell right now.
Here's where things get wild. It's rumored that during the height of his success, Diddy didn't just focus on building his empire. He also built an arsenal of dirt on some of the most influential people in the industry. He's known for throwing these infamous parties, events that were the stuff of legend, where the biggest names in music, sports, and Hollywood would gather. But these parties weren't just about fun and excess. According to various sources, they were also a way for Diddy to gather blackmail material, using hidden cameras to capture compromising footage of his guests. People have whispered for years about what really went down at these parties. And now, thanks to Rodney Lil Rod Jones's lawsuit, more information is coming to light.
And a lot of the evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those two raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these performances that have been named freak-offs.
Jones, a former producer for Diddy, dropped some serious bombshells in his lawsuit filed earlier this year. He claims that Diddy had cameras hidden all over his homes, capturing everything that happened during these wild parties without anyone's knowledge or consent. According to the lawsuit, Diddy used this footage as leverage over some of his closest associates, allowing him to control not just his business empire, but also some of the most powerful people in Hollywood. And now that Diddy's in jail, it seems he's not above using that blackmail to try and get himself out. One name that keeps coming up in these discussions, Steve Harvey.
Why doesn't the government want him to turn himself in? Because then they can't ask for detention. So they go and they arrest him. They arrest a guy who came to New York to turn himself in.
Now, Steve Harvey's public image is about as squeaky clean as it gets. He's known for his family-friendly comedy, his work on shows like Family Feud, and his motivational speeches. But behind the scenes, rumors have been swirling for years about his ties to Diddy and his infamous parties. Steve has always played it cool, brushing off any suggestion that he was involved in anything scandalous. But with Diddy facing a lifetime behind bars, it looks like the truth might finally be coming out, and it could be career-ending for Harvey.
And in this lawsuit, he claims that essentially P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap industry.
So what's the deal between Diddy and Steve? Well, reports are coming out that Diddy recently called Steve to meet him in prison, where the two had a private, no-witness conversation. During this meeting, Diddy allegedly told Steve that he had some dirt on him, something so vile that if the authorities got hold of it, Steve would be looking at a life sentence. The details of what Diddy has on Steve are still a mystery, but the rumors are swirling that it involves something captured at one of those notorious parties. Apparently, Steve is now terrified, scrambling behind the scenes to figure out how to get Diddy out of jail or at least get him bail, because if he fails, it's game over.
That's not the issue. The issue is it seems as though he wants to kind of like exert power and dominance over people who don't really want it.
Diddy's reputation as a master manipulator is no secret, but this new chapter in his saga is taking things to a whole new level. The fact that he's allegedly using his connections with politicians and business elites to apply pressure on people like Steve shows just how far-reaching his influence really is, and the stakes are sky high for Steve. If he doesn't pull through for Diddy, not only could his career be ruined, but he could also be facing serious legal consequences that might land him behind bars for life. For someone who has worked so hard to cultivate a clean-cut, wholesome image, this is a nightmare scenario.
That clearly there is a criminal investigation underway and that they believe that there would be evidence of crimes in one or both of these homes.
Let's take a closer look at Diddy's so-called freak-off parties, which are now at the center of all these accusations. These weren't just any Hollywood gatherings. They were known for being extremely private, with an exclusive guest list that included some of the biggest names in entertainment, politics, and sports. According to Jones's lawsuit, Diddy went to great lengths to ensure that what happened at these parties stayed secret, using non-disclosure agreements and even employing hidden cameras to record the most compromising moments. The lawsuit paints a picture of a man obsessed with control, using these recordings to keep his guests in check. And while the details of what went on at these parties are still murky, the fact that Diddy allegedly has footage involving Steve Harvey is sending shockwaves through Hollywood.
And I remember, I don't know if you know what his voice sounds like, but I felt like I was in the presence of his mom.
It's not just Steve who's reportedly caught up in this mess. Other high-profile figures are also rumored to be under Diddy's thumb, with some sources suggesting that he has a treasure trove of material that could bring down some of the biggest names in the industry. The fact that Diddy has managed to keep this under wraps for so long speaks to just how powerful he's been. But now that he's behind bars, all of those secrets are starting to unravel, and it's becoming clear that no one in his inner circle is safe.
Now, if the government is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being, they have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
But what exactly does Diddy have on Steve? That's the million-dollar question. While specifics haven't been revealed yet, there are plenty of rumors floating around about what might be on those tapes. Some are saying that it involves Steve's behavior at one of Diddy's parties, while others are speculating that it could be connected to Steve's wife, Marjorie, and her alleged criminal past. Marjorie's history is well known. She was married to a man who was convicted of running a major smuggling ring, and there have been rumors for years that Steve's rise to fame was, in part, funded by her ties to the underworld. If Diddy has footage that somehow ties Steve to any illegal activity, it could be enough to destroy him completely.
Stop ignoring the red flags in your relationship and thinking you can change a man.
This all comes at a time when Steve's public image is more important than ever. Over the years, he's built a multi-million-dollar empire based on his persona as a down-to-earth, relatable guy. His talk show, radio program, and book deals have made him a fixture in American households, and he's been careful to keep his image clean. But if it turns out that he's been hiding a dark secret all this time, it could shatter the trust he's built with his audience and leave his career in ruins.
I know you just started dating this year. So how are we going to handle that?
The bigger question is, how far will Steve go to protect himself? Diddy's demands aren't small. He's asking Steve to pull some serious strings to get him out of jail, or at least secure bail. And given Diddy's connections to powerful politicians and business moguls, it's not outside the realm of possibility that Steve could use his own influence to make that happen. But if Steve fails, he knows what's coming. Diddy has been collecting dirt on his associates for years, and now that he's cornered, he's more than willing to use it to save himself. Steve is in a no-win situation. Either he helps Diddy and risks being implicated in his crimes, or he lets Diddy go down and watches as his own secrets are exposed.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, he had a lot of people at those parties, right?
This scandal is far from over, and as more details come to light, it's clear that Diddy's arrest is just the tip of the iceberg. The entertainment industry is holding its breath, waiting to see who will be the next big name to fall. Diddy may be behind bars, but his influence is still very much alive, and as long as he holds the keys to these secrets, no one in his orbit is safe. The clock is ticking for Steve, and the stakes couldn't be higher. He's built his career on being a role model and a beacon of success, but one wrong move could bring it all crashing down.
There are some problems that the defense has brought up originally, but it seems like, just from reading this 14-page indictment, that there is enough physical evidence to perhaps get a conviction in this case. We shall see. These are allegations.
This brings us to a pivotal moment in Steve Harvey's career and life. He's always been the man with all the answers, the one who offers advice and guidance to millions of people every day. But now, he's the one facing a life-altering decision, one that could either save him or destroy everything he's worked for. It's a situation that no one, least of all Steve, ever expected to be in. But as the saying goes, what's done in the dark will eventually come to light. And for Steve Harvey, that light is getting closer every day.
Stand-up comedian, entertainer, television host, family man. But most importantly, I happen to be a man of faith.
Now, let's dig deeper into this mess and peel back the layers of Steve Harvey's seemingly pristine career. If you thought his involvement with Diddy's blackmail was shocking, just wait. There's so much more going on behind the scenes that could rock Hollywood to its core. Steve Harvey, known to millions as the funny, sharp-dressed host of Family Feud and a motivational figure for people across the world, might not be the man everyone thought he was. Could it be that Steve's rise to fame and fortune wasn't just built on hard work and clean living? Could there be skeletons in his closet, ones that Diddy has been holding over his head for years?
Let's first say that you shouldn't feel guilty for anything.
Let's start by looking at Steve's connection to his wife, Marjorie Harvey. For those of you who don't know, Marjorie's past is far from the squeaky clean image she presents today. Before she became the glamorous wife of one of America's favorite TV hosts, Marjorie was linked to some serious criminal activity. We're talking about ties to major illegal operations through her 2 previous marriages. Her first husband, Jim Townsend, was convicted of running a large-scale illegal enterprise. That's not just some gossip, it's a fact. Townsend himself was sentenced to life in prison after being caught trying to make a huge transaction. Marjorie, at the time, was reportedly under investigation too, with some even saying that the authorities were ready to charge her as well if Townsend didn't take the fall. So she dodged that bullet, but it left some major questions about her involvement in his criminal empire.
Man, Marjorie, the thing that Marjorie's not telling you all.
Telling everybody's business? Okay, now don't let me start telling Steve's business.
And just when you think it couldn't get any more scandalous, there's the fact that Marjorie's second husband, Donald Woods, was also reportedly involved in similar illegal activities. That's right, 2 husbands, both tied to major criminal rings. Now, what's really interesting here is the timing of Steve's career taking off. Right after Marjorie divorced Woods, she married Steve, and suddenly Steve's career started skyrocketing. Is it a coincidence? Maybe. But there have always been whispers in Hollywood that Marjorie's connections, and possibly even money from those questionable sources, played a role in Steve's rise to fame.
And I hung the phone up. I went upstairs. I said, Marjorie, down. I said, Marjorie, we got a problem. When I explained it to her, Marjorie started crying.
Here's where it gets even more complicated. Diddy and Steve have been friends for years, moving in the same elite circles of power and influence. And let's be real, Diddy knew everything that was happening in those circles. Diddy's notorious for always knowing everyone's dirt, and he wasn't afraid to collect it. Could it be that Diddy knew about Marjorie's past and used that information to control Steve? Rumor has it that Diddy had dirt on Marjorie's ties to her former husband's activities, and he may have even captured something on camera that could implicate Steve himself. This could explain why Steve has been so tight-lipped about his relationship with Diddy, despite everything coming to light.
Not only should he have apologized to Cassie in that video, he should have apologized to all of the general public that he lied to. Yeah. You sat there and you tried to paint Cassie as a liar for weeks.
There's been speculation for years about Steve's involvement in some shady dealings, but nothing has ever come to the surface. Until now, and Diddy's arrest might just be the spark that sets everything ablaze. Let's think about this. If Diddy has tapes, recordings, or any kind of evidence linking Steve to illegal activities or morally questionable behavior, Steve's entire empire could come crashing down. We're not just talking about his career in television, his brand, his motivational speaking gigs, his endorsement deals. They could all vanish overnight. All it would take is one piece of damning evidence, one video, one photo, or even one testimony, and Steve could lose it all.
Well, either way, if you got to run to a private island because your evil doings is doing so much and they storming your house, it's one of these.
What's even more chilling is that Diddy isn't the only one with these kinds of connections. Diddy's inner circle includes some of the most powerful people in entertainment, business, and politics, and many of them owe him favors. It's no secret that Diddy's rise to power wasn't just about his musical talent. He built his empire by aligning himself with influential figures, and many of those relationships were built on leverage. If Diddy were to expose Steve, there's no telling how many other people might come out of the woodwork with their own stories or evidence.
That's of course. There's layers upon layers. When you get into these conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers upon layers.
But let's not forget, Diddy's also in a desperate situation. He's sitting in jail right now, facing some of the most serious charges you can imagine, and he's not going down without a fight. He's already proven that he's willing to use blackmail and leverage to get what he wants. And if he's reaching out to Steve to help him get out of jail, you can bet that Steve is in a tight spot. Diddy might have more than just one card to play against Steve. He might have a whole deck. Stakes couldn't be higher for Steve, and he's got to be weighing his options carefully right now. Does he risk everything to save Diddy, knowing that it could backfire, or does he let Diddy take the fall and hope that whatever dirt Diddy has stays buried?
Now, so what is next? Is he going to be in jail in this facility until the trial begins? Is there a chance he could, get moved earlier than that? As of this moment, as of this hour, as of today, yes. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be appealing this thing next to the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to overturn the judge's order here to try and get him actually released.
It's important to remember that Steve's public persona has always been about overcoming adversity. He loves to tell the story of how he was once homeless, how he struggled before finding success, and how he built his empire from the ground up. But if it turns out that his success was built on something darker, it could change everything people believe about him. Steve has always presented himself as a man of faith, a man who values family, hard work, and integrity. If Diddy's blackmail reveals a side of Steve that doesn't match that image, it could be the end of his reign as one of America's favorite TV personalities. This isn't just about Steve's reputation. It's about the entire industry. Steve isn't the only celebrity who's been linked to Diddy's party's inner circle. If Diddy starts talking, it could lead to a domino effect, exposing more high-profile figures and unraveling even bigger scandals. There's a reason people are scared of Diddy's downfall. His influence reaches far and wide, and the dirt he's collected over the years could take down more than just one or two careers.
This has to be a 100% culture shock. I can't imagine living a lifestyle of the incredibly rich and famous and then going into this very dark, impersonal, cold, austere facility.
We also can't ignore the fact that Diddy's connections go beyond Hollywood. He's long been known for his ties to some of the world's most powerful politicians and business moguls. Diddy has always been a master at playing the game, and his ability to navigate the murky waters of fame, fortune, and influence is legendary. It wouldn't be surprising if he's already working behind the scenes to make deals and pull strings, all in an effort to reduce his sentence or even get out of jail entirely. If Steve has any hope of staying out of this mess, he's going to have to outmaneuver one of the most cunning players in the game. Let's not forget that Steve has his own network of influence. He's rubbed shoulders with some of the most powerful figures in entertainment and politics, and he's no stranger to playing the game himself. But even with all of his connections, Steve is in uncharted territory right now. He's facing a threat from someone who knows all of his secrets, and if he makes the wrong move, his entire world could come crashing down. As we look at the bigger picture, it's clear that this scandal is far from over. Diddy's arrest is just the beginning, and the ripple effects are going to be felt for a long time. Steve Harvey might be able to keep up his public facade for now, but if Diddy has what people are saying he has, Steve's days at the top could be numbered. And what about the other celebrities who were regulars at Diddy's infamous parties? Are they next in line? It's only a matter of time before we find out just how deep this rabbit hole goes.
And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise.
The real question is, how long can Steve keep this under wraps? Will he be able to maneuver his way out of this, or is he just delaying the inevitable? As more details come to light, it's clear that this is one of the biggest scandals to hit Hollywood in years, and with each new revelation, the pressure on Steve is mounting. One thing's for sure, this story is far from over, and we'll be watching closely to see how it all plays out. The tension surrounding Steve's next move is palpable, and it feels like we're standing on the edge of a cliff, waiting to see what will happen next. If Diddy goes down, will he take Steve with him? Or will Steve somehow find a way to escape this web of blackmail and manipulation? Drop your thought in the comments below, and let's get the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.